Hi guys, welcome back to Storybook Crochet. In today's video we're going to make this tiny pumpkin ghost. If you haven't seen already, I also have a video up for the tiny witch ghost, so you can make that to go with this, and I will have two more little tiny ghost videos coming out within the next couple weeks. So for what we need today for this pattern, you're going to need several different colors in the worsted yarn. You're going to need white, a light pink, a pumpkin-y orange color, a tiny bit of green, and a tiny bit of this brown for the stem. So that's what that will look like. Okay, you will also need a 4mm crochet hook. You're going to need scissors, a yarn needle, a stitch counter, and I'm using 7mm safety eyes, and then you will need some fiberfill. So let's grab all of those supplies and we will get started. Okay, so to get started, we're going to start with our white yarn, and we are going to start with a magic ring, and in that magic ring we are going to make 6 single crochets. Alright, once you have your 6 made, go ahead and take that tail and give that a pull so that you close that opening. So for round 2, we are going to increase around. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of those 6 stitches that we just made. So at the end of round 2, you will have a total of 12 single crochets. All right, once you have those 12 made, at this point I go ahead and start using my stitch marker, and I put mine at the end of each round that I make. Okay, so for round 3, we're going to start off by making 1 single crochet in our first stitch, and in our second stitch we're going to make an increase. So we'll put 2 single crochets in the second stitch. So 1 single crochet and then increase, and we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So again, 1 single crochet, and then you're going to increase in the next stitch. You're going to repeat that pattern around 6 times, and this will give you a total of 18 single crochets. Okay, so now moving on to round 4, we're going to do the same type of pattern, but this time we're going to put 1 single crochet in that first stitch, 1 single crochet in the second stitch, and then we're going to increase in the third. So we're making 2 single crochets and then an increase. And again, you're just going to repeat that around a total of 6 times. So 2 single crochets and then increase. At the end of round 4, you will have 24 total stitches. So go ahead and work your way around, and I will meet you back at the beginning of round 5. All right, so for round 5, this will be our last increase round. We are going to do, again, the same type of pattern, but this time we're going to make 3 single crochets. And then after those 3 are made, you'll increase in the 4th stitch. So just repeating that same pattern, 1, 2, and 3, and then increase in that 4th stitch. At the end of this round, you will have a total of 30 stitches. So again, go ahead and complete that round, and we will meet back for round number 6. Okay, so that was our last increase round. So for rounds 6 through 12, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So each of those rounds will be a total of 30 single crochets. So go ahead and do your 7 rounds. That's rounds 6 through 12. And we will meet back to finish off the bottom part of our ghost. Okay, so this is what our little ghost should look like so far. So we have 2 rounds left to finish the main body part of our ghost. So for round 13, we are going to start off by making 3 single crochets. And then we're going to decrease over the next 2. So if you're not sure how to decrease, I'll show you how to do that. You're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, pull your yarn through, and then you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, so the second one that we're working in. Pull your yarn through. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3, and that's how you make a decrease, where you turn those 2 stitches into 1. So you're just going to repeat that pattern around for round 13. So 3 single crochets, and then you're going to decrease. So go ahead and repeat that around 6 times total. At the end of round 13, you will have a total of 24 single crochets made, and I will meet you back, and then we're going to finish off the last round where we're going to make these little like frill on the bottom here. So go ahead and finish that round, and then we'll meet back for that. Okay, so for round 14, which is going to be our last round of this main body part, we are going to be working in the front loop only. So normally when we make that next stitch, we go under both loops here. But for this one, we're just going to go up in between the 2 loops so that only the front one is on your hook. And we'll be doing that for the whole round. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a shell. So for these shells, we're going to be making 5 half double crochets in the next stitch. So all in that one stitch. So go under that front loop. Here, I'll show you real quick how to make a half double crochet. You're going to yarn over, go under that front loop, pull your yarn through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So that is a half double crochet. You're going to make 4 more under that same front loop that you just made that one. Okay, so that's what this is going to look like. We have 5 half double crochets in that first stitch under the front loop only. So now we're going to actually skip the next stitch, and in the next one we're going to make a slip stitch in that front loop only. Okay, so we made 5 half double crochet shell, we skipped a stitch, and then we slip stitched. After our slip stitch, we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to make another shell in the one after that. So make your 5 half double crochets. Okay, once those 5 are made, skip the next stitch, slip stitch in that next front loop. Okay, skip the next one, make your next shell of 5 half double crochets. So you're going to repeat that around, and I will keep that written up on the screen so that you can read that as you're making this last round number 14. And then I'll show you how to finish off, and then we're going to make the base that will close off our ghost here, and we'll put that on later, but we'll go ahead and make it. All right, once you've made that last slip stitch, we're going to go ahead and finish this part off, and you do not need to cut a long tail on this. We're going to go ahead and weave this in. So you're going to want to grab your yarn needle, and I'm just going to come up through a few rows here, and then I'll go through that row back and forth a couple times. All right, and then when you get that done, go ahead and cut that off. And like I said, we're just going to set this aside, and make the base, and we're actually going to make all the parts before we sew anything together. So go ahead and grab your white yarn again, and we'll make that base real quick. And this is going to be the same pattern as the first 4 rounds of the body that we made. So we're going to start off with our magic ring, and then we're going to make 6 single crochets in that magic ring. Okay, so we have our 6 made. Let's go ahead and pull that tail closed. And then for round 2, we're going to increase around again. So 2 single crochets in each stitch around, and that will give you a total of 12 single crochets. Okay, so that is round 2. We have 2 more rounds to go. So I'm going to put my stitch marker in here, and we're going to start round 3 with 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to increase in that second stitch. And then just like before, we're going to repeat that around. So 1 single crochet, and then increase in the second. Repeat that 6 times for a total of 18 single crochets. Okay, so we have 1 round left. For round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets, and then we're going to increase in that third stitch. So again, that's 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then increase in the third. Repeat that around 6 total times, and then you will have a total of 24 single crochets. All right, after you make that last increase, we are going to go ahead and slip stitch to that very first single crochet from this round. And then we are going to cut a longer tail on this one because we will use this tail to sew it onto the main body of our little ghost. At this point, I also go ahead and cut that shorter tail just to get that out of the way. So when we sew this on, we'll sew it on the bottom like this, so that'll be closed. Okay. Okay, so to get started with the hat, we are going to use our orange yarn, and we're going to start with a magic ring. And in this magic ring, we will make 8 half double crochets. So once you make your ring, I'll show you real quick how to do a half double crochet. You're going to yarn over and then insert your hook into the circle. Grab that yarn and pull it up, and then you're going to have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, and that's 1 half double crochet. I'll show you one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, grab that yarn and pull it up, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so that's 2 half double crochets. So now we're just going to keep going, and we're going to make 8 half double crochets in our ring. Okay, so once we have our 8 half double crochets, we're going to take that short tail and pull it so that that opening closes. And for the hat, we are going to join and chain 1 at the end of each round. So in that first half double crochet that you made, you're going to make a slip stitch to join the round. Once that's joined, you're just going to chain 1, and that is round 1. And again, you'll have 8 half double crochets made. For round 2, we're going to increase around with our half double crochets. So in the same stitch as your chain, you're going to make 2 half double crochets in that one stitch, and then you're going to continue that around. So 2 half double crochets or an increase in each stitch around. So at the end of round 2, you'll have a total of 16 half double crochets made. All right, so we've just finished round 2. Don't forget to make your slip stitch and your chain 1. For round 3, we're going to start in our first stitch with an increase again. So you're going to put 2 half double crochets in that same stitch as your chain. In the second stitch, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to work in the around the front post of this next stitch. So you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook between the last stitch you just made, between the posts, and then you're going to go back behind it so that your hook comes underneath that post. You're going to grab your yarn and pull it through, and then make your half double crochet. Okay, and that is working around the post, and that is going to make kind of the little pumpkin ridges for our hat. Okay, and we're going to repeat that pattern round. So in the next stitch, we're just going to increase like normal. So put 2 half double crochets. Okay, and then around the next post, we're going to make our half double crochet around the post. And just repeat that around. Okay. Increase, and then you're going to work around the post and make your half double crochet. Okay, so if you get lost on where to make your stitches, just know that you'll have one front post or one post not worked in, and then one post worked in. So it'll just be every other post that you're working in. So that'll help you kind of keep track where to put those posts. All right, so keep working your way around until the end of round 3, where you have a total of 24 half double crochets. All right, and this is what it will look like once we are finished with round 3. So rounds 4 through 6 will be exactly the same. So I'm going to show you round 4, and then you'll repeat that 2 more times. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 half double crochets, 1 in each stitch. So 1 and then 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. So just 2 normal half double crochets. And then we're going to go ahead and go in that front post again of the same post that you made in the last stitch and make your half double crochet. Okay, so then we're going to make 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to front post crochet in that post that you made from the previous round. So all your posts will be on the same stitch. That's an easy way to figure that out. So 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochets, and then the front post half double crochet. And you're going to repeat that around. And like I said, you'll do this again for rounds 5 and 6. So you're just repeating that pattern. So go ahead and finish off through round 6. Again, you will have a total of 24 half double crochets after each of these rounds. Alright, so this is what our hat looks like so far after round 6, and you can see the little pumpkin ridges. So we have 2 rounds to go, and all we're going to do for rounds 7 and 8 is single crochet rounds. So 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and make sure you join and chain 1 at the end. And again, with these rounds, you will still have 24 stitches made. So let's go ahead and finish off through round 8, and then we will go ahead and move on to the stem and the vine. Okay, so once you have finished round 8, we are finished. So don't chain 1 after that round, and then we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. And I do not sew the hat onto my pumpkin, so it's removable. or to my ghost. So if you want to, you can sew it on, and you're going to want to cut a longer tail. But if you don't want to sew it on, then just cut a shorter tail, and then you're going to go ahead and weave that in. Alright, so that's the hat finished. So now we're going to make the stem. So you'll want to grab your brown yarn, and this is super quick and easy to make. We're going to start again with another magic ring, and this time we're going to make 5 single crochets in our magic ring. Alright, so once your 5 single crochets are made, go ahead and close that opening. And for the stem, we are going to join, so go ahead and make a slip stitch into that first single crochet that you made and make your chain 1. Alright, so for the next round 2, we are going to be working in the back loop only. So I'm going to get this a little bit closer for you. So normally you have your V-stitch here, and we work under both of those. This time we're just going to work under that back loop. So you're going to go in between the 2 stitches under that back loop only. And you'll start with that same one as your chain, and you're just going to single crochet around in that back loop only. And you'll have, again, a total of 5 single crochets made. Okay, once you've made 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to go ahead into that first one that you made and make your slip stitch and chain 1. So for me, I'm going to have to pop out that top part there. So now we have 1 round left. Round 3, we're just going to do normal single crochets around, so under both loops. So make your 5 single crochets around. And then make your slip stitch to that first one that you made. And that is all we're doing for the stem. So you can go ahead and cut a little bit longer of a tail for this, as we're going to use that to sew it onto our hat. Close that off, and I just go ahead and cut this middle tail here like that to get that out of the way. Okay, so there's our stem, and that will go on to the top of our hat. But before we put that on, let's go ahead and make our vine. Alright, so with our green yarn, we're going to go ahead and chain 10 for our vine. It's super simple and easy to make, so make your chain 10. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start in that second chain from our hook, and you're just going to make 2 single crochets or increases across the chain. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in every chain across, and this will give you a total of 18 single crochets. So as you put these 2 in each chain, you'll start to see that it's going to start curving and then making that little spiral shape that we're wanting. Okay, so once you have that finished, go ahead and cut a little bit longer of a tail. Alright, so we have our little vine made. So go ahead and weave in any ends that are in the way, like the little short ones. Weave in the ends of the hat, and then we'll come back and we will sew all of it together. Okay, so we're going to start by putting our stem on first, and that will just go over that center first round of our hat. You're just going to sew around the edges of that stem. Okay, once you have that stem on, you're just going to sew the vine onto kind of the edge of that stem. So just grab the edge of that and make a couple of stitches there to sew that on. And then you'll weave in those ends, and then the hat is finished. Alright, so let's start our assembly of our tiny ghost witch. So step 1 is we're going to be putting on the safety eyes. So grab your first eye, and what you're going to want to do is count down between rows 9 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's 9 and 10, and then place your first eye. Okay, and then your second eye, you're going to want to have like 2 visible stitches between the 2 eyes. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so go ahead and place your backs on, and then we will put our cheeks onto our ghost. All right, step 2, we are going to sew on the cheeks onto our ghost here, and I just place it there and just go around, and I just go up through the center of the ghost here and just work my way around. Okay, so go ahead and sew both of those on, kind of below the eyes and to the side a little bit. And then make sure you weave in those ends, and then we'll move on to our next step. All right, so for step 3, we're going to go ahead and stuff our ghost with some fiber fill. So you want to make sure it's good and stuffed, nice and firm. It really doesn't take a lot for this little ghost. So go ahead and get that stuffed, and then we're going to sew the base onto our ghost here. All right, so for the next part, which will be part 4, we're going to take the base that we made and we're going to place it on the bottom part of our ghost. So in that last round of our ghost, we worked in the front loop only, so that for this part where we sew this on, we will be able to work in that back loop to sew on the base. So you're just going to grab that back loop, grab the corresponding loop of the base, and just sew all the way around until the base is completely sewn on to our ghost. All right, so go ahead and get that sewn on. All right, so at this point, the only thing left to do is to go ahead and put our hat onto our tiny ghost, and we are finished. If you did want to sew that hat on, you will have to do that at this point. Otherwise, we are done with our tiny ghost, and don't forget, I'm making 2 more tiny ghost videos here coming up in the next week or 2, so you don't want to miss those. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and also the bell icon. That will notify you as soon as those videos are available. You can go ahead now, if you haven't already done so, and make the tiny witch ghost to go with your little pumpkin guy. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.